Okay, so continuing along with clearing the desk as well as playing along with the challenges over on the Paper Issues site, I am going to tackle their, what do they call the PI Partners Up. So this month they've partnered up with Stock Sketches, and the challenge is to use this sketch to create your layout. So I have pulled out some photos. These ones do not look like they're 4x6 because if they were, it would be the whole width. So I have 3 4x6 sized photos, but I will cut some of them down, I think, because there's a bit of superfluous stuff in the photos I don't need. And to create this circle, I am actually going to use something that I have been hoarding for quite a while. This butterfly garland. And I figure I can easily make a circle out of the butterflies. And other things that I've pulled out, I've got this scrap of paper. This is Dear Lizzie documentary, The Confetti, and I'm going to use this teal side. And then I've got this sheet, which is from Pink Paisley. This is Paige Evans number 9. And I'm going to use the polka dot side, this light pink polka dot. And that's as far as I've gotten, and I will pull other things in as soon as I need them, but first I will work on my background. I thought also, along with the butterflies, I can accentuate the circular motif by adding some splatters of mist. Okay, so that's as far as I've gotten, and I will start by creating my background. Before I get my butterflies out of the package, I'm going to get the background ready. So I cut off the branding strip from that pink polka dot that I'm going to have in the background. And then I trim those 2 photos. I'm going to keep one at the full 4x6 size just because there's not really a good way to trim it, just the way that it is composed. But the other 2, my daughter and the little girl in the photo are slightly farther away, so I can trim off a bit of that. And that actually leaves me a nice space down at the bottom there that I can put my title. I realize on the sketch that the title is up on sort of above the photo on the right, but just the way the photos sort of were and the way I lined them up, I have that nice gap down at the bottom, so that's where I'm going to put my title. Okay, so I'm getting popped out my butterflies, and I actually took the time to ink the edges, but I skipped over that so you wouldn't have to watch all that because that's kind of boring. And now I am getting them stuck down into place, and I'm trying to make sure that they're not upside down. And then I ended up putting the adhesive in the wrong spot there, so I sort of rubbed it away. My favorite adhesive, which is was the red package, ran out. So I'm trying out this new one. It's a dot roller, which is new for me. I don't usually use a dot roller, but so far so good. And then I go to put my photos down and realize that I completely forgot I was going to put the mist down first. So I rip it back up, and I'm not that worried about the damage that's there because I know that it's going to get covered up once I stick my photos back down. And I'm pulling out different colors of mist. The first one I put down is the Heidi Swap Color Shine in the like tealy blue. I can't remember what the color is exactly called. And then I pull out some Mr. Huey's. So I tried out the piglet in the middle there. I know that that's going to be covered by photos. And it's a bit too red. So I changed that for Cameo, which is a lighter pink. And then I also use Little Boy Blue, which is a lighter blue color, and then some gold. And I got a little bit impatient, so I pulled out my heat gun. I held it quite far away from my paper. I know it looks close on the camera there, but there was probably a good 2 feet between the bottom of the heat gun and the paper, just so it didn't actually push the drops around, so they would still dry in a round shape and not get sort of squished. Now on the sketch there are a couple of sort of strips of embellishment in the top right there, bottom left. So that's what I am doing just now. I'm just pulling out different things from that pile of paper beside me on the left hand side there to accent. So the gray camera is from Amy Tangerine 6x6 paper bag. And then that black and white diagonal stripe and the pink that I initially saw, or maybe you didn't notice, was a 3x4 card. They were in that kit of supplies that I'd put together, and I believe they actually came from a Paper Issues grab bag. I know I said in a previous video I didn't have any grab bag stuff left, but I think I might have just lied to you. And now I'm looking for more things to put on to embellish it. And I remember I have that sheet with all the different colored circles that I've used before. So I punched some of those out. And I did pull out a piece of 6x6 paper from Pink Fresh Studio that has lots of little boxes that you can cut apart. And I thought maybe I would add some of those. But in the end, I feel like this is enough. And the pink little 3x4 card I punched into 2 label shapes, and one of the labels I cut in half because I didn't feel like I needed to have the whole thing there, because I just want to put a little bit of journaling down there, but the other one I wanted a bit more journaling, so I left it bigger. So I'm just tucking the circles and the strips and just kind of having fun playing, basically getting all that into place. And I have that one extra circle that I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with yet. That side of it that you see up right now is fairly close in color to the background, so it wasn't, I just couldn't find a good place for it. So I put it aside to sort of think about it a bit more. Now I've pulled out some letter stickers. I'll get my title in place. And these are white foam, and I like how the capitals have these sort of curly cues on them, but the C is giving me some trouble. But then when I go back to find a small C, I notice that there is this C, which has a curly cue in the other direction, and it doesn't get in the way of the dot on the I, basically, is what was giving me trouble. And then I also noticed that instead of putting L's for full, I had capital I's. So I switched those out so they're all the same. And for the first word in the title, which is the last word that I will put down, I'm just using these old letter stickers from Basic Gray. And the full title is Coming Full Circle. And I like how, and that's why I chose these photos actually, because the circle in the sketch made me think of the title, and then made me think of these pictures. So basically, the gist of this is that is my daughter at her grade 7 graduation assembly, and our school has this tradition where when the assembly's over, the grade 7s leave, and each one hands a pencil to a kindergartner, and then the kindergartner hands a flower to the grade 7, and then they walk out together hand in hand. And it's really cute, especially if you have somebody in grade 7 with a sibling in kindergarten, and then they match them up, and it's a really sweet tradition. It's like passing the torch. And so that's what I'm writing about in the journaling, and that is what spoke to me when I saw the sketch with the circle element. So I've gone through and gotten a few other embellishments. These little flowers are from a Jen Hadfield embellishment kit. I can't remember what manufacturer that is, sorry. They have a little bit of gold foiling on them, which will pick up on the gold mist that's on the layout already. And I have pulled out 3, but because there's really only 2 embellishment areas, I'm only going to put 2 down on the layout. That one I popped half of it up because there was quite a few layers of paper up in that corner, and I felt like 1/2 of that flower really needed to be popped up. And I had a couple of little peach flower stickers from a Dear Lizzie sticker sheet. I think it was the same one that I pulled the balloon sticker from for yesterday's layout. And then I'm just getting a little bit more journaling in. I had to put those embellishments in place so that I knew exactly how much space I would have to journal in, basically. And then the last thing I'm going to add is some of these fabric covered chipboard butterflies from Studio Calico that have been in my stash forever. And I wanted to use them to emphasize the butterflies that are in the garland, and also to bring that white into the embellishment areas, the white from the title. And now the last thing I'm doing is putting on enamel dots, because that's usually my last finishing touch. And I have this sheet from Teresa Collins, I believe, and it's sort of a peachy pink and a light aqua blue, which works perfectly with my layout. And there was enough on the sheet that I had just basically used them all on this layout. And there we go, there's the finished layout. So thank you so much for watching, and if you are interested in playing along with any of these paper issues challenges, I do invite you to join the Paper Issues Friends and Fans group and check out the different March challenges on there. And obviously, if you want to take Shimelle's class, it is called Clear the Desk, and it is available on shimelle.com. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.